go get 2 pairs of shoes, 2 camis, 3 button-down shirts, and 1 skirt. Let's go ahead and build this collection. So if that's some content you would like to see, keep on watching. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Rochelle from Rochelle.Handmade.Designs, and in this video I'm going to show you how I built this black and white collection using 1 skirt, 2 camis, 3 button-down shirts, and 2 pairs of shoes. Okay, 1 pair of flats and 1 thing of heels. All right, so before we get started, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe button, and also turn on the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. So without further ado, welcome to my new and returning subscribers. If you are here for the first time, I hope you like what you see and subscribe for more, of course. And if you are returning, you know the deal. Come on in, chill with me, and go ahead and grab you some coffee, some tea, some hot chocolate, some, any and everything, some water, any and everything that you can think of. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the pattern review first, and then I'll talk a little bit about how this collection came about. All right, so let's go ahead and start with the long A-line skirt, which is part of the summer skirt series. This is skirt number 7 in that series, the long A-line skirt. So for the pattern description, the first thing I did was I used Mccall'S 7981, which is this pattern right here. I'm gonna also go ahead and put it up on the screen as well, and I'll talk a little bit about this top that I have on as well. All right, so for the pattern description, this is an unlined skirt. A, B, C, and D, they all have length variation. All of them have a front band and pockets. View A and view C have like your knee length, and then view B and view D are your longer length that is to the lower calf. Now, all of them have pockets. A and B have a gathered skirt. It has side front pockets. C and D have more of a flared skirt with side seam pockets as well. Now, the view that I did was view B, but I used the tie ends from view A to actually be able to tie and have it into a bow. So that's what I did for my skirt. Once again, I did view B, the length of view B, but the ties from view A. So that's what I did for mine. All right, so let's talk about the notion used. So the notions used for this pattern, you need thread, interfacing, and of course you need buttons. So the number of buttons that I used was 7, but it calls for 1-inch buttons. I used 3/4, and I just sat in front of the TV yesterday and pretty much hand sewn the buttons onto the front and to the skirt. Now, I did have to go back to Joann's because, like you guys know, that I've been using a lot of things in my stash before going to Joann's. Now, the buttons that I have, I only had 5. And that was enough to do the shirt. However, it wasn't enough to do the skirt, so I went back and picked up some more. You guys know, Joann's is a ripoff on buttons. I'm just going to say that. So if you are purchasing some buttons, go to wawak.com, and I'm going to put it up on the screen, WAWAK.com, for all of your notions. When you could get zippers for 65 cents compared to Joann's at $2.69. Hello, how you doing? What's your name? Everything. Okay, so I purchased some buttons and all that good stuff from WAWAK over the weekend, but because I needed to get this done because I'm running up on a time schedule, and October 7th is coming around really quickly in order to get all these skirts done. All right, so that's what you need for the skirt. For the top, I'm going to talk a little bit about this top as well. For the top, that pattern is Butterick 6686. Now for this, you need 5 buttons. it calls for a 1/2 inch, but of course I use 3/4 for both of them to match with the buttons. Now I do have a sew along for this pattern, and I will also link to it in the description box below, as well as on the end screen, so you can see that sew along as well for this top, and it comes together so quickly. It is 4 pattern pieces in order to do this top. It's the front, the back, the yoke, and then you have your facing, your collar area, my bad, your collar area. So it's just 4 pattern pieces, and you have a nice classic button down shirt that you could do. All right, so moving back over to the skirt, after notions used, let's talk about the fabric used. So the fabric for this skirt and top, the 2-piece set, I use 100% Ankara print. The fabric is purchased from House of Mami Wata. I purchased this fabric, I want to say last year, and it was in my stash. Now I knew I wanted to do something long and flowy, but it was not originally supposed to be a 2-piece. It was supposed to just be a skirt. However, not a skirt, but a dress. However, I wanted to use as much of the fabric as possible. Now, I think I'm going to use the rest of the fabric in order to make a head wrap, a small head wrap, like a head scarf that I could, you know, wear to bed, and pair that with like a little crossbody bag or something like that. I think that's what I'm going to do for the rest of the fabric. It's about 1.5 yards left over because I use majority of the fabric for both the top and the skirt. All right, so moving on from the fabric used, let's talk about the pattern pieces. So for the skirt, I used, I want to say 7 pattern pieces, I think. So I have pattern piece 1, which is the facing, pattern piece 2, the right front, 3, the left front, 4, the back, 5 was your front band, 6 was your waistband, and then 7 was the ties for view A. So it was 7 pattern pieces that I used for the skirt, all right? So let's talk about pattern sizings. So for the pattern sizing for the skirt, the long A-line skirt, Mccall'S 7981, which is the pattern number, it comes in, I believe, 3 different pattern envelopes. 2 pattern envelopes. So you have your extra small to medium, and then the large to extra large. The size that I cut was the extra large, okay? And the reason why is because it was weird how it's a lot of ease in the hip area, but the waistband was spot on when I cut the extra large. I basically cut that extra large and I didn't make any modifications. So speaking of modifications, you know, did I make any modifications? No, I did not. So I told you the size that I cut, which was extra large. There was no modifications done to this pattern outside of taking the ties from view A and putting it on view B. That's the only modifications, which wasn't a modification. It was more of a style change. That's all I did. All right. Did it look like the photos or the drawing on the pattern envelope? Absolutely. It looks exactly like the model on the envelope on my skirt. The only difference is the length. Other than that, there are no difference. Let's talk about instructions. So for the skirt, the instructions are easy to follow, but there is one portion in the instructions, which I'm going to go ahead and put that clip in so you could see what I'm talking about. All right, so I wanted to show you guys this real quick, that I am working on Mccall'S 7981, which is the next skirt in the skirt series. This is the long A-line skirt. And step number 5, which says stitch back, which is number 4, to front at sides. Well, this is the front right here, which this piece right here is number 2, I believe. Number 2 is the front. So let me just write front. And then you have number 3, which is the side front. And then this is number 4, which is the back. So what this says on number 5 is stitch back to front at sides. You're not going to be stitching this back piece, which is pattern piece number 4, to pattern piece number 2. You need to stitch pattern piece number 4 to pattern piece number 3, which is the side front, right sides together, and stitch using 5/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, so that's what I wanted to give you a quick tip on number 5. The step is incorrect of the way that it shows on the pattern. So just make sure well, the instructions is incorrect. So make sure you are stitching your back to your side back instead of your back to the front if you are doing this pattern. All right, so like you've seen in the clip, it was instruction step number 5. It tells you to stitch the back to the front at sides. So if you do that, if you attach pattern piece number 4, which is the back, to the side, you are attaching it essentially to the front, which is pattern piece number 2. So that's why I made sure to record the portion that says to stitch the back to the side, or stitch, yeah, to the front at side. So instead of attaching the back to the front, you need to attach the back to the side front, which is pattern piece number 3. So that's why I went ahead and filmed that clip, just so you are aware. If you decide to do this pattern, you know exactly what you need to do. All right, so moving on, the instructions are easy to follow. Let's talk about likes and dislikes. So I do not have any dislikes whatsoever. I love the fabric. The fabric made this skirt, okay? Now, let me say something. Like, I am not a fan of a bunch of long skirts. And if you watched my summer skirt series last year, then you will know that I do not like long skirts at all. Here and there I will do a longer skirt, and I felt like this one was needed because, you know, being in, you know, the building part day, like I have said many of times, and I think you guys know that now, that I don't work at home all day now. I'm hybrid, so I need things that are not short whatsoever to be able to wear to the classroom and everything. So that's why I need to make skirts that's at the knee or below the knee, and I was perfectly fine with the skirt because I feel like I will get lots of wear out of the skirt. All right, first time experiences. Do I have any first time experiences? Absolutely not. Everything I have done before, skirts, you know, buttons, ties, all of that stuff, I have done it before, so there's no first time experience whatsoever. Would I sew it again? Absolutely. Now, let me back up. The original, for the skirt, I originally wanted to do view A, which was the shorter version. However, because I had a lot of the fabric, which I purchased 6 yards of this fabric, and I'm unsure if House of Mommy Wata has this in stock. I will check, and if so, I will let you know in the description box below. But I felt like I needed, view A was a little shorter, it was above the knee. I would have to lengthen it. So if I had to lengthen it, I might as well go a size up and just do view B. And that's exactly what I did. All right. Would I recommend this pattern to others? Absolutely. I feel that this is a classic button down skirt pattern that you can do and take you anywhere from day to night and any and everything in between. Okay. You could do day, you know, day with some tennis shoes, dress down. You know, happy hours with some casual flats or whatever, and then date night, you know, with your hub, your partner, your loved one, whatever, later on. So this one skirt can be shown and seen different ways. So I thought it was amazing to do that. All right. Now that I talk about what I recommended to others, let's go ahead and talk about my pattern rating. So for this skirt, I am stamping this pattern as a 5 out of 5 because yes, I do love it, even though it did have one messed up, you know, step, but it wasn't bad to where you didn't understand what to do with it. So this pattern is a 5 out of 5 for my liking. All right, so let's talk about the pairing. All right, so listen, so what I did for the styling of this lookbook or, you know, collection or whatever, I took 2 camis in my closet. I also took 2 pairs of shoes, 1 pair of heels, 1 pair of flats, and then I also took 3 button-down shirts. Now, for the button-down shirts, I use 1 pattern. Now these are from my closet from previous makes. I did a white one, I did a black one, and then I had, you know, I did this one right here, but I did take a total of 3 button-down shirts outside of this one that I have on out of my closet. But the other one was a plaid I did not use in any of the photos. Okay, I didn't even, after putting the skirt on and the plaid, it just did not pair right for me, so I did not, you know, photograph in it. So anyway, what I'm gonna say is take 2 camis, take 2 pairs of shoes, take 3 types of button-down shirt, preferably do a long sleeve, a 3/4 sleeve, and a short sleeve, and you know, to pair it together. So I took 3 button-down shirts. So the pattern for the black and the white button-down shirt is Simplicity 1538. I have sewn that pattern so many times for button-down shirts, so I love that pattern. And I think there's a sew along for it on YouTube. Don't quote me because I didn't look at a sew along in order to do that. But yeah, that's the pattern that I use for the button-down shirt. Like I said, this pattern is Butterick 6686 that I have a sew along for that as well. Now, you only need 1 skirt, and you could pair it so many ways. So now I did kind of like a week worth of looks if you really take the skirt and the pants. So the first look, and I'm gonna walk you through each look. The first look that I did was pair the top and the skirt together. So that's Butterick 6686 paired with Mccall'S 7981. The second look that I did was I kept the skirt and I paired it with a black button-down shirt. So the top is the button-down shirt is Simplicity 1538 and the skirt is Mccall'S 7981. Then I took that top off and paired it with a white one, which is also Simplicity 1538, and the skirt is Mccall'S 7981. All right, and then after that I did 2 camis. So I did a black and white cami that I made during hashtag sewing 5 and below with my good friend Talisha from Creativity by T. That pattern was Simplicity 1366, and then it's crazy because the black cami is from the black and yellow collection that I did also with Talisha from Creativity by T when we did hashtag so much color. So that's exactly what I did, and I hope you like this black and white collection. Something quick and something easy. I only had to sew 2 new pieces. Really, I only had to sew 1 new piece, right? Which was the skirt, and paired so many different ways. Oh, and the last look was the top and a pair of pants with some flats. So that's this top, once again, Butterick 6686, and some purchased store-bought jeans. Okay, well, I hope you enjoyed this black and white collection. If you choose to do a collection like that, all you need is to take 2 pairs of shoes, 2 camis, 3 button-down shirts, 1 skirt, and you have a complete collection for at least 6 days. All right, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. So I'll catch you in the next video, and as always, keep sewing.
Where's Da Vinci? Working a 9 to 5, I had to go and feed the guys. Nobody did it right, I had to show them how to grind. I had to beat the odds, this is the life I live for God. Taking a step at a time, we going up, we headed to Mars. Taking them chances, making decisions, you know I'm never gonna lie. Till you let go, I'm copying all of them, who you gon' be inside. I cannot fake it, I gotta face it, I gotta do the time. You gotta wait, make for it.